Hello shrimp people, welcome back to Shrimp Life. If you are a returning subscriber, thanks for coming back. Thank you for all of your love and support. If you are a new subscriber or you're just new to the channel, take a moment to subscribe. And also everybody, when you like, when you comment, and even though for those dislikers out there, when you engage with the channel in any way, it helps the channel out. It basically sends a message to the YouTube gods who are in charge of recommending videos and all that good stuff. A message that, hey, people are engaging, people are responding, people are doing what they're supposed to do that make a video a good video. And what that does is it gets my videos recommended so that other shrimp keepers can actually find them and actually gain and learn some good information. So yeah. Today we are looking at my red Pinto shrimp tank. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about what can happen when your shrimp aren't really breeding very much, or if they suddenly slow down. There's a bunch of different reasons that this can happen, and it's not always easy to figure out exactly which reason it is, but today I'll go through a list and maybe you can narrow it down and kind of tweak a few things or try a few things to get them going and have a tank full of shrimp. So for me, in this situation, I know what's going on. And it's because they were doing really well up until I stopped my regular water change schedule. So I think that when your shrimp are on a very regular water change schedule, they appreciate it. It encourages like a cycle of molting, breeding, activity, babies, like a nice continuous circle of that. And I sort of disrupted it when I got really, really busy because, life does that sometimes. I got super, super busy with work. So busy that I know what you guys might be thinking. Oh, well, you're never too busy for a water change, Shrimp Life. Come on, this is your jam. This is your thing. This is shrimp. But I'm telling you, I got so busy, guys, that I didn't even have 1 minute of the day for myself. My break was eating lunch. My break was taking a shower. So, yeah, I was that busy. So my water change schedule definitely got disrupted, and I really think that caused a disruption in breeding. Finally, I can see buried females again because I resumed the water changes, but I definitely noticed a break as soon as I started neglecting water changes. So that's not to say if you've always done minimal water changes or sporadic and your shrimp are breeding fine, if that works for you, that's great. But what I'm saying is because I've been so regular with my water changes and I totally changed it up, that may have disrupted my shrimp breeding cycle and breeding pattern. Another thing that if your shrimp are not breeding at all, it could be water parameters or stress. A lot of times, even if you're a little bit off with your water parameters, a lot of places online recommend a very broad range of acceptable parameters, and I find for ideal breeding and optimal breeding, it's a very, very more fine of a range than what is recommended. So in the video description below, I'm going to actually put what I recommend for Taiwan bee shrimp, for NEOCARIDINA shrimp, and Pinto shrimp. Another thing that could affect your shrimp's breeding, if they're not breeding at all, is let's just say you got new shrimp. Sometimes it takes them a while to settle in. They don't always just start breeding right away. I've had this happen quite a few times where I got shrimp and they just didn't breed for a while, but once they did and they got settled in, everything was a-okay. Another thing that I noticed through all my many years of shrimp keeping and breeding is that if you get old shrimp from somebody, they don't breed as much or at all. So there's only been like 2 or 3 times that I actually bought shrimp from somebody and they sent me full-size old shrimp. And I'm mainly talking about CARIDINA shrimp. I find that NEOCARIDINA shrimp, even if they're older, you can get them going. But with the CARIDINA shrimp, when they're really old and stuff, I find that they're very difficult to get going. And that's probably just because they're adjusting to a new tank. They've spent their entire lives in somebody else's tank, and then all of a sudden they've been pulled out, yanked out, and it may take some time just to get used to your tank. And so, yeah, that's something I've noticed. So thought I'd share that with you guys. Another thing is age. So a lot of people get shrimp and they're like, oh, you sent me all males, or oh, they're not breeding. Well, a lot of times they're just not sexually mature yet. A lot of young shrimp have the body shape of a male shrimp. So it's not safe to say if somebody sends you juvenile shrimp that they're all males. I have personally made this mistake myself in the past. I thought, oh, what the heck? I got all 20 males? What? But no, that just definitely wasn't the case. It just, they needed more time to reach sexual maturity. And eventually, yep, those mamas got their big round bellies to where they carry all their eggs underneath, and their bodies definitely changed from juvenile shape to adult shape. An adult female in particular has that big undercarriage, and definitely trademark of a female shrimp is that big skirt, the big undercarriage is like a belly of the shell that protects the little eggs while she's fanning them and taking care of them. The males have a very much more straight undercarriage belly area. So, but a lot of these shrimp in here, like if you look at the juvenile shrimp, they all basically have the same body shape. They're all the same. So, and I think that's it basically for today's video. Those are some of them. Oh, I got another reason actually. There's one reason that a lot of people say is legitimate, and other people will say, well, I don't really think that's what it is. That reason is barometric pressure. So certain times during the year, there's something said barometric pressure, season change, weather change, barometric pressure change. And I have noticed every year that this sort of happens in my shrimp room. Some of my tanks really slow down. Actually, they all slow down at the same time. And I don't know whether it's sunlight, whether it's barometric pressure, whether it's the temperature naturally cooling off, whether it's the daylight, the hours of daylight during the day. So there's a lot of different factors that can go into that. So if your shrimp slow down during a certain time of the year and they're all slowing down at the same time, it could be barometric pressure, it could be the season or the daylight, or it's not really for sure, but it's definitely a possibility. And the thing is, you can try a whole bunch of things like I did and still have no results. So I don't know what to say about that. It's really hard when your shrimp are in that zone of not breeding to re-engage them. But I find that regular water changes, if that doesn't do it, and if your parameters are correct, eventually they'll just go going again when they're ready. So these shrimp are my red Pintos, and I love them so much. They're absolutely adorable. So they did slow down because, like I said, I started slowing down those water changes, and just now I see a couple females buried again, which is great news. I did sell a whole bunch around Christmas time or before Christmas, and so the colony is definitely not where I want and need it to be honest with you guys. The Pintos are very, very prolific, and they are just not being prolific lately. And I'm wondering if I disrupted, probably they had good breeding at the time, and maybe I disrupted that when I definitely slowed down on the water changes. But I do see some little babies in the other corner of the tank right now. So that means that, yeah, somebody did give birth within like the last 3 weeks, but there's not a whole lot going on in here. So I'll be really excited when this tank goes crazy, and there's a whole lot more to show you guys. So hope you guys are having a fantastic day, enjoying your shrimp tanks and living the good life, staying positive, staying focused on what's important to you, and enjoying life. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later.